Sins of the Angel is the second opponent in the second week of the 31st Grand Arena season, and I believe this might be the alt account of a player called Sins of the Father, but I might be wrong. Maybe if someone knows that, let me know in the comments. It was quite an interesting match, and we're starting with the first battle, which is Maul on gas duty again, so no threatening Datacron on this gas team, and usually then I feel quite comfortable taking in Maul. As you can see, the only minor issue here was that there was a stun cron on specials, but not so much of a problem when you use Maul and you have the advantage of going first with Droidica in this case. Then basically you only have to face one special in the beginning of the match when they are getting their counter in, or whatever this is, like the call to assist from 5s, because it gets so much turn meter. Other than that, the battle is quite normal, quote unquote. The other stun you've seen here was after gas got up, but not an issue. 74 banners, so that was okay, I guess. And it was an off-wall battle, by the way. I started there because I wanted to get these teams out of the way. This is another north-wall battle. And the reason for that was because the south wall was quite heavy, and so I thought potentially should take out these things first and then clear up the north wall, go to ships and see what I can do at the south wall. So interesting match overall. And again, I sped this up because this is quite a straightforward battle as well. You just have a race against the clock to take out Radis, and you've seen he was almost at 100 of his stacks. Luckily got a stun there, and then Niles took him out, and the rest again is a cleanup. And so far what I've noticed, like, this seems to be the standard lineup that people are using, I guess because of Frenzy from Biston. It makes a lot of sense, of course. I kinda prefer a double tank for this lineup, just to give more safety to Radis, because when you have double tanks and you're taking in Treya, you only can isolate one tank at a time, and so sometimes they get in the way from Nihilus. So if you take Treya as a counter, but other than that, I think this is a good team. Maybe this is more like an offensive powerhouse than defensive, at least this version of the team. But yeah, once Radis is out, I think this team as a whole doesn't really pose a threat, at least versus Treya. But thinking about it, Treya might also be like an expensive counter. When you think about the other things you can do with Treya, like taking out the Lord Vader team, with Talon, of course, that you need her for that with the Omicron, but still, right? 60 banners. And speaking of Lord Vader, this time I didn't have Bam available. He was on defense, so I had to play this with the traditional lineup, so to say, but I felt kinda okay. Took out here Darth Vader and not Royal Guard, because I thought he might be more of a threat when he does his Merciless Massacre. He might take out one or two tunes, and so I felt like taking him out might be better. And it was kind of planned that Bosk would die to Maul's attacks. But then I took out Maul, took out Eighth Brother, no problem there. And then, of course, there's the downside of taking out Darth Vader and not Royal Guard. The downside is that you have to go after Royal Guard as well, and just takes too much time usually, or takes away any damage you can get in on Lord Vader. And so I lost Bam, unfortunately. Mendo, always messing up the names of these two, unfortunately. And so I felt like, okay, I guess this will be a two-shot. I hope at least can take out Royal Guard, and I was just one basic from Fennec away to do that. And so unfortunately was a loss, but that's a very clean uppable, if that is a word, Lord Vader team. And for that I prefer Mon Mothma. I think she's the best counter for that. You also don't need the version with Kara, because here Frenzy from Biston is quite handy. Gives you one more turn essentially to keep up with the turn meter train once you trigger the Frenzy, and so it really helps. And here the goal is just taking out the tank at first, big hit here, and then taking out Lord Vader, and hoping that the TM train doesn't break too much, so that his AoE, like you see here, doesn't pose a problem. Usually it's fine if he does it, as you can see. Of course, with the dots you don't gain turn meter, and there's also ability blocks and days, but with the cleansing capabilities of the team, it usually isn't a problem. Here I'm doing like the big heal just to give my team a little bit more comfort zone in terms of survivability, and yeah, cannot prevent Lord Vader from taking a turn, so I'm ending up in the same setup before. Some dazes, some dots, as you can see, and at some point it feels very dicey, but I think just push through. If it goes south, it still goes south anyway, it doesn't matter if you try it or not. So if you're in the set, still push through. And I think this team, I made a video on this like some weeks back. They can also take out the full Lord Vader team, depending on the comp, of course, a little bit. If they did it in arena and with help of the 25% Datacron, TM Datacron. But yeah, as you can see, overall, once they're there, getting there with all the bonuses, they're getting like buffs, offense up and crit chance up, and all that kind of stuff. Crit chance up doesn't matter so much, but offense up, it kind of is a well-rounded cleanup. Then there was a Southward battle again, Malgus with Talon, which I think going forward will be the comp that we're seeing, because in 5 it is the strongest comp, I'd say. And I didn't play this counter before with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and Dark Zombie. I just wanted to try it. This whole match was a bit like of trial and error, trying things, making decisions that are so yeah, questionable when you think about it afterwards. But here I just wanted to try it, and I potentially could have played differently. For instance, I could have taken in versus Lord Vader this team with the help of what, or yeah, more on that later. But I just wanted to see how this plays out, because it really feels like a very solid counter. Yeah. I mean, Kylo, in essence, he aged very well as a GL, I believe. Of course, he has problems versus JMK, that's clear, but versus any other GL, he has a good shot. Like even versus JML, people who are saying that he doesn't, I think it just comes down to modding in that case, and how you play your cards. Because you still see a lot of people losing to with JML on offense versus Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, which is funny at times, but it happens. And yeah, I believe it's one of the best GLs overall in the game, just of the value you get out of it, right? Getting a fleet, getting a whole team, getting a GL that can pretty much helps you in all the raids and all that stuff. So, and getting here like full quote-unquote banners as well, undersized of course, but yeah, that was a good experience. And here are some of the things that where I said like I want to try things, because in this case there was yeah, the stupid Datacron on Rey, and so I felt maybe Babbage has a shot when I can go first, so I get days out, and I don't give they don't get all the TM they usually would get, and I can maybe yeah, before Rey gets into ult, take out 1 or 2 characters, and then I have a shot at this. I just wanted to give it a try. And my wrecker is Relic 9, which essentially I just relicked, or I relicked him just to have the flexibility on offense to potentially take out Galactic Legends with Bad Batch. So that's, yeah, that was the plan for that match, but it went south because unfortunately this team had a lot of health steal. So if it wasn't for that, I believe there would have been a chance. But then, yeah, didn't happen, or didn't, yeah, it didn't happen in essence. Then there was a Starkiller team. I could have mirrored it, but I felt like maybe I need Starkiller for something else, potentially to clean up Array, so I would just, yeah, take in Troopers here. Pretty straightforward battle. You take in what, you make the basic, start with the basic from what, Troopers getting like 2 buffs, so that means, I think, what is it, like 20% turn meter or something like that? Maybe too much, maybe it's 10 or 20, I forgot the exact number now, sorry. Usually I know these things, but sometimes they slip my mind. And with this TM, they will go before, usually go before the other team, Starkiller. Like, the only other like potential way you could prevent this is like if you add the 25% turn meter for light side characters and add like a very fast tank, which one of my recent opponents did. That's actually a good way to make this counter trickier. I think it was old Ben who got like 25% turn meter, and then he opens up ability block and removes TM. So that's quite a good counter to take out those kind of counters. But here this wasn't the case, so this, as you can see, they didn't even take a turn. So this was a very nice battle overall. But yeah, but at the same time it was also kind of stupid doing that, because I had C, but I honestly didn't believe that C with or without what had a shot at this, because he's just too slow in this case. With all the turn meter, raise an ult, and there's no way back. You know, I mean, it survives the ult, of course, but still, I don't believe that what would have made a difference. Yeah, so I just want to give it a try, and felt stupid. Potentially counter this, C would need some speed, and potentially the tank tech, honestly, to get more TM, just to being able to snipe out at least 2 characters. But yeah, so maybe what would have been helpful, but I don't think so. So this was, I believe, a North Wall battle again, JMK. That's why I didn't use JMK on the South Wall. As I said, I wanted to clean up the North Wall, go to ships, and then take out on the South Wall whatever I can. So it was a very heavy defense, which I kind of like, to be honest. I prefer facing a very heavy defense and going to risk of tilt, compared to like having those, not wishy-washy, but like those defenses that make you think too much in terms of what could be behind there, and then it's trash, and then you feel stupid because you fell for the strategy of your opponent. And I'm guilty of that myself, right? So placing a semi-decent front wall and then putting trash behind sometimes. So yeah, give and take. This battle, as you might have known, I recently dropped the battle in the mirror because I hammered down or used so many specials on Cat that she was stunned the whole time, and then JMK got into his ult and she could just snipe out whoever she wanted and sniped out my Cat. So this time I avoided that and did my ult at 50%, so then had free range to use it and took out Cat. And after that it's pretty straightforward. I think the Datacron is also like phasing out pretty soon. I wonder what JMK then will become, or like which other Datacrons might be interesting for him. Potentially still the ones for Jedi, when you like have the more damage per, or like even like repost. There are a lot of Jedis on the team anyway, so might be interesting. Yeah, back to Rey, using Starkiller here. And I believe I even did that here, that I tried like the 25% turn meter on old Ben, but didn't really matter. Or I did like the traditional way, like the cooldown reduction on debuffs. Not 100% sure. It's been a while since I did that battle. Yeah, but lost Ben. Bummer, but it is what it is. And so just trying to do my thing. Potentially should have done basic here. Bringing old Ben back, yay, welcome back to the party. But yeah, she's an ult, so I guess the only way to kind of survive that whole thing is like getting to ult of Starkiller in time, doing the heal, and hoping that they have enough survivability to take it. But it's not looking well, as you can see. Got the ability blocks, that was nice, but now I have healing immunity on our friend EP, so he will die for sure, no matter if I reach the ult or not. Which I do here, so doing that, healing everyone, even healed him, but then Rey took out the more important characters. there was damage immunity on all Ben, which I think could have been one of the problems, because he doesn't take any damage, so the damage is spread out between 4 characters, I believe. I might be wrong, but then yeah, Starkey died. So I tried another counter. Here I had a 25% Terminator for the JKL Datacron, so including bonus turns for him. So I tried my luck, but yeah. I still, now after I've seen it for quite some time, I believe the 100% more damage on full health, full protection characters is better for JKL teams. It's just the damage he does is better than Repost ever, because the extra damage is just amazing. Yeah, and here JKL against the world, but the world was against him, so lost that as well. And then I go back to the North Wall, last North Wall battle, and I wanted to try it. I've done this once and it worked, but it might have been in freeze, I don't remember exactly. Because usually Dash doesn't open with his AoE when there's only one character on the opposing team. So he opens with a stun, you resist that, and then usually you can get protection up and all that kind of stuff, and Daze comes later because it's unresistible anyway. But yeah, as you can see, this failed, and I think the last time I tried this several times, and I believe always also when there is Silver, it just fails. So had to take in another counter after even having left it with the M. So and Aiden, I think is kind of a hard counter. I mean, it depends, right? How many tanks are there and how the situation is like. But as you can see, not really much of a problem. Taking out Vendor, taking out Dash, and then it just like falls apart, right? So quite an easy counter. So yeah, Aiden is really amazing. Potentially she would have a shot at Ray as well, to a certain degree. I've seen people struggling to take out Aiden with Ray, so maybe there is a way, the other way around to make it work. Maybe something to test next time. So, trying another GL counter, which sometimes works versus Ray, which is Grievous. Tricky, but you can do it if you ramp up his damage enough to take out Ray. And at least got one character out, so that was kind of a victory for me in this case. Unfortunately, to get damage immunity on Poe, otherwise would have a shot to take him out as well. Yeah. But other than that, Grievous is amazing. I mean, you can take out C, you can take out JML, you can take out Starkiller, Ray. He's amazing. So, and my team is not the best. Like I think both my tanks, B2 and Magna, not Magma, are still Relic 5. Maybe I should then put him up a notch. Yeah. So then I thought maybe use Hux and see what can be done here. Not much. I didn't really expect anything. It was just more like throw everything I have against this Ray wall and see what happens. And this is like, I love Slugfest battles, but this is frustrating, of course, because when you're not able to clear the south wall, it's over. It doesn't feel bad. It does feel bad, of course. And here, of course, I'm to blame because I made some decisions. I could have played different. I could have tried Bounty Hunters versus Malgus, clean up Malgus, using SKR on Lord Vader, or using SKR here and doing something else for Lord Vader, potentially trying Troopers, or some with Chariot. I know Chariot was in defense, but there have been ways to avoid the situation I'm in right now. So then using Geos, one of my favorite Ray cleanups usually. And overall an underrated team, I believe. They are so flexible on what they can take out. And yeah. Took out Poe, so getting there, right? At least it felt like that, but at the same time, potentially should have done that earlier and then taken Starkiller. Yeah. So that's the thing with those cleanups of these teams. Sometimes it really comes down to the order of how you operate. If you have the chance to take out one or two characters, like with Grievous or like Geos, do that first and then use your better, quote-unquote, better counters instead of wasting the stronger counters in the beginning and then hoping for for other things to happen. So that was a lesson I took away from this. But versus Raid always to me is a mystery box, especially with this 15% turn meter stuff. It's very hard to calculate. Yeah, so then I gave up on Ray and went to Ships. And Ships was surprisingly weak, the defense. You had, as you can see here, Radus, and could take out Ray's Falcon first, so that was nice. Before the tank got in the way, then can focus down the tank. They're doing their stuff, going in for bigs, and yeah, pretty simple battle other than that. But yeah, we will see how it goes. Now that Profundity is out, I unlocked her 7 stars and all that kind of shenanigans. Yeah, I wonder what will happen to Home 1. I still have to like really read the kids and understand them and stuff like that, because recently I don't have that much time to play anymore like I used to have before, because work is busier, or busy again, for me, so that's why. Yeah, I'm potentially not as well informed as I used to be in some aspects of the game, but and Datacrons added another layer where I just don't care anymore that much, and then you have to catch up on things. Yeah, then there was a Malevolence there, so took in Negotiator. So far, I didn't really feel that they fixed the bug in terms of difficulty, taking out this fleet, but there might be cases where it comes in clutch that they finally fix this bug with the assistance from the Vulture droids. Yeah, but again, also Grievous always is like a bit of a... That never feels like an easy battle, never feels like a chess battle, with those where you play Finalizer versus Executor, it pretty much follows a very clear pattern. If this goes wrong, you have to do this. If this goes, or not, if it doesn't go wrong, you do this, right? At least in the opening barrage, and then it depends a little bit. There are some moments they have to be flexible, but more like there's a crossroad, so if you go left you do this, if you go right you do this, depending on what reinforcements come in. But with these battles it never feels like that, so at least to me. Yeah, but overall things are okay. Getting a Force Taunt on our friend Anakin, which doesn't feel nice, but he hangs in there barely, as you can see, but now he's gone because of an assist. Maybe that's one of the cases where the fixing was okay, but other than that, AoE, and then I believe that was it for the match. 69, not the best banners, but at least a one-shot. And then I believe this was either Tarkin or Thrawn. I always have difficulties to recognize it without the little picture of the pilot. I almost said pilot, like the capital guy there. So yeah, I had Executor, so I took Executor, and yeah, it's Thrawn. And then of course Interceptor comes in, tries to make my life a misery, or misery. Usually succeeds, but yeah, overall I think even if it's a nasty battle, things are okay. This time I just wanted to get rid of those buff immunity. That's why I did that move, because it's just annoying. And then focus down Interceptor. Of course, sometimes you need good RNG with the assist, not assisted double taps from Xanadu. If they happen, it's super nice. If they don't, it's not so nice, of course. At times it can be the difference between having the ult 3rd turn or 4th turn, so yeah, it's just annoying. They brought in TIE Reaper, kind of weird reinforcement. Shuttle might have been better, not sure, maybe they didn't use Shuttle there, and use it on offense potentially, not sure. But finally was able to take out Interceptor, and after that it's pretty much not game over, but it feels a lot easier. You can bring in Slave 1, they have their ult, Slave 1 is gone, but it's its job taking out Darth Vader, Darth Vader's X-Wing, and so, or TIE Advanced more, sorry. X-Wing, stupid. Bad banners, but yeah, finished fleets, and this is also the finish, the final state of the battle. I won. My opponent attacked, failed twice in the south wall, and gave up. That was a little bit unexpected, but yeah, potentially they didn't just want to interact with all the data cons and all that kind of stuff. Because of their very heavy defense, maybe they didn't have enough confidence in themselves to clean anything. So yeah, I'm in the finals again, and the finals were another fun match, so looking forward to that. I hope you can look forward to that. So see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.